Hello, my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. I'm receiving advertisement from a variety of people, and some of them are these health food sites. And just today received an offer. Well, it says from Ocean Robin, the top 8 foods for brain health. Okay, so when you open the email, then it says, well, found out what are the top 10 foods that will keep your brain healthy by buying our book. So it's basically advertising. And, you don't have to go much. I just opened this short video that's pushing the book. It's 2 minutes. And I just see pictures there. Turmeric, blueberries. All right, so I basically know where this is going. And instead of wasting my money on stupid book of misinformation, I just open internet and healthy brain food. And there goes a site that tells you 11 foods that are going to benefit your healthy brain. Okay, and I want us to go through this together. So let's check the site. Okay, so here we have it, the best foods for healthy brain and improved memory. So let's see. My cat Zgat wants to join us here in conversation. Hey Zgati. Hi. All right, so let's check it out. What are these? They're here. I think they mentioned 11 foods here. Okay, so let's see. First, fatty fish. Okay, here we are. Spot on the money. Salmon, trout, tuna, herring, sardines. All right, this is fine. Now, number 2, coffee. Bingo! Strong toxin, especially neurotoxin. It excites brain, but it actually is poisonous. It has a lot of caffeine and all the other crap. So anything that is made out of seeds is going to be very toxic. It says increases alertness. Yeah, but it has nothing to do with healthy brain. Improved mood. Again, nothing to do with healthy brain. And it's not, you are basically getting wired. Okay, so it's same like saying cocaine should be much more effective as a brain food because hey, it makes you even more jumpy and more alert. Schmucks. Okay, blueberries. Benefits of blueberries. Antioxidants. Now, what do we know about antioxidants? Most of them are phenols. They are toxic. So how can toxic food be good for brain? Turmeric, another medicinal remedy. Curcumin improves memory. In which way? When it is toxic. Okay, so now, helps new brain cells grow. In which way? You see, it is not important on which site you go, because they all copy each other with the same nonsense. Broccoli. In which way is broccoli going to be stimulating for the brain? Not stimulating, but healthy. Oh, vitamin K, but it's a plant-based vitamin, completely different animal than our vitamin K. Okay, so summary. Broccoli contains a number of compounds that have powerful antioxidants. Again, antioxidant. Garbage. Pumpkin seeds. What do we know about vegetable oils? Toxic for humans. They are all omega oils, unsaturated. And our brain is made from saturated fats, animal fats. So far, we had only one right, and everything else is actually toxic. Dark chocolate, another toxic stuff. Now, why dark chocolate? Because they say, well, it has to be low on sugar, because sugar is toxic to the brain. Well, which one is it? Dr. Joseph Mercola and the others claim that glucose is very important for brain function, for healthy brain. So now, is sugar beneficial or is it toxic? Make up your mind, guys. Nuts. All nuts are toxic. How can it be healthy for brain? Plus, again, they're very hard to digest, and they have oils. They don't have fats. Yeah, they are something that vegans can depend on, is their only source of some kind of fat, but still, body makes its own saturated fat in Krebs cycle. Oranges. Which way oranges? Go to summary. Orange and other foods high in vitamin C. What do we know about vitamin C? It's toxic, especially in higher dosages. Eggs. Okay, so out of 10, we have 2 good ones. But then again, what do they say about eggs? Somewhere I read it here about eggs. Hard-boiled eggs are good for our health. Hard-boiled eggs are difficult to digest. So everything that is mentioned is a pure baloney. And 11th, green tea has a caffeine. So green tea is toxic. So again, we have, out of 11, we have 2 kind of hits, but kind of because egg is promoted that has to be hard-boiled, which actually should be eaten raw, and most likely fish will be also cooked and should be raw. Okay, what are the 5 brain killer foods? Well, sugar or sweetened beverages, refined carbohydrates. Okay, so refined carbohydrates. So again, there is the claim being done in science that brain needs carbohydrates because it needs more energy, and carbohydrates give more energy than fats, which is a lie. It just needs, it's a slower conversion and it needs more mitochondria. But first you say it has to be dark chocolate, so it doesn't have sweetener in it, so it doesn't have glucose and fructose in it because it's toxic. And then you say, yeah, but brain needs glucose because it cannot function properly without glucose. Okay. It's a blind leading blind. Typical science. Best brain food snack. Okay. Nuts, citrus fruit. What is a brain food for the brain? Citrus fruit. Brain, what is brain made out of? It's made out of cholesterol, fat. In which way dark chocolate and citrus fruit, here it is, and the hard-boiled eggs will provide nothing. Hard-boiled eggs is very tough to digest. Okay, let's further discuss this topic. Okay, there is so much discrepancy in scientific world that left arm does not know what the right arm is doing. They beat themselves in the same game. Every scientific doctor will claim, well, brain needs glucose. It cannot function without glucose. We need the blood sugar. Then on the other side, they'll tell you, well, milk chocolates or chocolates with a higher percentage of sweetener are bad for you. You should eat dark chocolate because, you know, the sugar is bad for you. Well, the only thing that the brain can use for energy, if chocolate is in question, is the freaking sugar. Well, there is also some fat, but that fat in a chocolate, it is non-saturated. It's plant fat, it's a seed fat. Very easily becoming rancid in the body when heated up and oxygenated. And body has oxygen. Blood has oxygen. And it's warm. So all these claims are bogus. And they just repeat. One side repeats from the other side. Only one side says, well, there are 8 brain healthy foods. The other one says, well, there are 11 brain healthy foods. The other one says there are 6 brain healthy foods. They're inventing science as they go along. And it's not science at all. It's nonsense. Because if you are talking about brain health, well, you first have to understand what is brain made out of and how to keep it up. Well, if you are vegan, you cannot do much about it because brain is made out of fat. And you are not providing any. You are providing some oils which are bad for us. So body will have to make its own fat, and it will have to use then starches. Vegans cannot survive unless they have some cooked food in there, because the starch will then be used in a body, switch the body into glucoholic state, and start producing fat. And this fat then can be used. The benefit that goes to vegans is that they do not indulge on food because they limit the intake of carbohydrates. So they are forcing the body to maintain certain level, certain amount of mitochondria, because they will still be using a lot of fat for energy. But the fat will be manufactured in the liver from carbohydrate. So they eat sugar. Some sugar is going to be directly involved while they are eating it in production of energy. When they stop eating it, quickly the sugar level drops. So now the sugar is not going to be pushed into the cell anymore, and cell will now need to use fat. And if you keep spacing between eating, then the cell will have to force to have active certain amount of mitochondria and use the fat to produce energy on a cellular level. So as vegan eats, some of the sugar is going directly into powering the cells, some of the sugar goes into liver, is being converted into the fat. So when vegans are not eating, then this fat can be then used to produce energy. Again, it's like sitting on two chairs. You will never be comfortable. Your body cannot work correctly. So it's not healthy at all. But since they are eating more raw food than vegetarians, then they will not absorb so much sugar because they eat less starches, less exposed starches. As I explained, raw vegetables are pure cellulose. All carbohydrates are embedded in the cells of cellulose. So in the cells which are covered with cellulose, so the body has no access to them. You cannot digest it. Only the little bit of bread that they eat, and they prepare some tofu junk and stuff which is made out of plants. They'll be able to metabolize it, but it's a bad source of energy, and again, it's carbohydrate. And it is taking the body into glucoholic state. It cannot be in ketogenic because as soon as you are depending on carbohydrates, you cannot be in ketogenic state. And then the claim is, oh, now in this state, how can we keep brain healthy? But brain is pure fat, animal fat, which means your body will have to produce it, and it's very difficult, especially because the oils that you take and because of the carbohydrate that has to be turned now into fat in the liver. Cells can also do some of it. For example, cells use fat to produce glycogen. But which cells? Brain cells and muscle cells. Only those two are doing this job. Every cell is capable of doing it, but they're not programmed to do that. You don't have deposits of glycogen in a bone. You don't have deposits of glycogen in your kidneys. You don't have deposits of glycogen in your blood vessels. You don't have it in a heart. Well, heart is the muscle. You may have it there. But you are not going to have it in the tissues because glycogen, glucose, is supposed to be used for energy only in a stress situation that your life depends on. And this is why then stress hormones will trigger the release of glucose from glycogen and feed exactly the cells that need it for stress situation, brain for quick thinking, and muscles to execute. And then liver is the only one that can pump the sugar, release it into the blood. And when it does it, as soon as the level of sugar increases in the blood, insulin is triggered to be released. Insulin doesn't release before sugar appears. And why? Because as soon as level of sugar in the blood increases over the radar, over the regular level that should be maintained, then the body goes into stress mode. Because usually this only happens, or this is supposed to only happen when you're in a stress situation, the sugar jumps, because liver would be releasing it. You should never get it through the diet. No other mammal gets it through the diet. Only humans and animals that we feed, because we feed them with that junk food, which is carbohydrate. Dietary carbohydrate, stripped of cellulose. So when we go to the brain health, you want the healthy food for brain? Chicharron, the pork fat, pork rinds. Put some salt on them, sea salt on them. Yo, that's a brain food. Pork fat. Put some salt on it. In the past, this was the most important food there was. Piece of bread, pork fat smeared on it, some salt, and you eat it. Bread, because we were duped into bread. But pork fat, fabulous food. Any kind of animal fat is fabulous food. And it's a brain food, because this has everything that your body needs to create cholesterol, if needs to be. And then to provide you with triglycerides, to keep your energy level up. And keeps you in ketogenic state, which you should be at all times. Not as the science is telling us, you know, fasting is not good because it takes you in ketogenic state, and ketogenic state is not the good, healthy state for our body to be in. So, for every mammal on this planet, it is healthy state. But for human mammal, it's a toxic state. How does that work? Please explain to me. How does that work? Zombies. We are all zombies accepting this baloney science. Step out of it, guys. Colleagues, please. Think. What is good food for your body? It is good food for your cells. It is good food for your brain, for your liver, for your kidney, for your blood vessels. It's all the same food. There is only one good food, which is raw animal product. Raw animal protein and fat. It contains all the vitamins that we need, but we can make them ourselves, as well as animal make them. That we cannot make vitamins, it's a baloney. Now, of course, scurvy is being said. Oh, you know, the seamen, 2 months at sea, 3 months at sea, and they would have scurvy, teeth would be falling out. Well, what did they eat? And what did they drink? They drank stale water because they didn't want to drink seawater. They would not mix seawater with the rainwater that they had. And they lived on bread. No nutrition. the worst possible stuff you can put in a body. It's empty food. Yes, it gives you energy, but that's it. There's no minerals in it. And of course, they're all afraid of drinking salty water. So, as soon as you provide your body with the fresh meat, and sailors, they could have been fishing, they could have eaten fish. They would not have scurvy. Well, so much nonsense in science. As soon as you start opening your eyes and actually thinking, the whole science, medical science, falls apart instantly. And non-medically trained, non-medically brainwashed people can see it much easier than indoctrinated doctors. Because it's very difficult to run against the installed program, because it keeps rejecting everything. So don't waste your money buying these nonsensical books. Somebody wants to sell you something, well, just go on the internet and put a question out, and you will find the free information, misleading information. It's all misleading information. There is not a sip of a truth in anything that is on the internet, basically. They all copy each other. Everything that is popular is popular for a reason. Indoctrinated minds can only accept what they have been indoctrinated with. And since we all are forced to be in the schooling system, well, you are not forced to go to school because governments want you to be smart. No, governments want to dumb you down. This is why you need to go to school. Okay, my Scott here is impatient. Well, thank you for listening, and please, before you accept any of these nonsensical ideas about the best foods for a brain, the best food for liver, the best food for heart, just think a little bit. There is only one healthy food for the body, which means it is healthy for your cells, which means it's healthy for all your organs, all your tissues. And this is the type of a food that you can have raw, in a raw state, and it will nourish you. Fruits cannot do it. Plants in general cannot do it. Only animal products can do it, from dairy, then to eggs, and to animal themselves, being it sea animals or water animals, fish, or land animals. And the healthiest is to eat them raw, because they maintain their original frequency. So they are not going to influence any shift in your body. Thank you for listening. Love you all. God bless you. Namaste.